The views and opinions of this show, thought of the hosts and no one else. In fact, they don't even agree with each other most of the time. He hears, oh, the Hornets nest.
Welcome to Poke the Hornet's Nest with me as your host and him as your co-host.
Hi, I'm him.
We got a clip of Mike Mitchell that I thought he was quite arrogant and conceited when he spoke at the supervisors meeting. Doug, him, doesn't think so.
Thank you. My name is Michael Mitchellak. The last time I was in front of the city council was nearly 50 years ago when I asked Maurice and the rest of the city council to let me build my fly shop along the side of the freeway. Since then, that business has become the second largest business of its kind in the world. I listen to TOT numbers and all of this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, most of these people are underachievers. You know, my postage bill is $375,000 a year. My postage bill for sending out hundreds of thousands of catalogs. If you pick up your phone anywhere in America and type in fly fishing, try it. The Fly Shop, Redding, California comes up first, and I don't pay for that. It comes up first because it's the most used. I have 15 guides that work on that river every day. 15 guides, 2 people in the boat, you do the math. Okay, we guide probably on an average of 260 days because our climate's so wonderful. We got 260 days a year. We put somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 bed nights in Redding. We bring 53,000 people online to our website. It's the single most active website in the entire world of fly fishing. I have 153,000 names on our e-list. And if I was to, and I'm not going to do it, and there's a reason for that. If I was to drop a message to these people and tell them that after devoting my entire life, more than 50 years, and trying to make that river one of the most famous rivers in America, one of the most famous fly fishing destinations on the map, if I was to tell them that you people are advocating putting a jail alongside the Sacramento River, all hell would break loose. Councilman Resner has seen the recent letter from Caltrout. Caltrout's the second most significant environmental proponent or advocate in the state of California. Okay. I stand there along with the rest of the people here. This is the wrong place. This is the wrong place. There are other very, very suitable alternatives, including all of the property that's adjacent to the Clear Creek Waterworks. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres away from from these residents, and not adjacent to the Sacramento River. This is a dumb idea. You know, this is going to be your legacy.
Thank you, Mike.
You have any questions?
No.
Can I? No, I listened to it and I heard a man as passionate who's built a business and stressed the importance of his business to our local community, which I think he had a valid point. He says he brings in a lot of business and he doesn't want to see a jail on the thing. So,
and fishing wouldn't be worth a damn if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, well, you know, when you get to a certain level of success, I think you kind of, you kind of take credit for things that may or may not be yours. But I did not find
there wasn't trees in Northern California until Red Emerson moved over here from the coast.
There you go. No, I did not think Mike from the Fly Shop was arrogant at all. I thought he was very passionate, and I think what he was stating was facts.
Did I tell you Doug's dating Mike?
Yeah. We're BFFs. And so anyways, I saw the clip and I did not think that he was all that arrogant. So I disagree with Nick to the extent of, I think he was just being passionate about his community.
If you listen closely to the show, he agreed with me about something. I forget what it is.
It's probably there's a glitch in the matrix, is my thinking.
For this comment, when I mentioned taxpayer, I'm the taxpayer. I'm talking about all of the taxpayers.
I read a deal just a couple days ago that nationwide, in the United States here, the average taxpayer now pays $8,200. I forgot my notes, but it was $8,200 and something dollars in taxes, and that they, for the first time in history, they're paying more than food, clothing, and shelter. We're paying $7,800 for shelter, or for food, clothing, and shelter. And then I looked at the master fees for the city of Reading, and there's over 400 fees and permits and everything. This is absolutely ridiculous. When I look at plan check, sprinkler check, landscaping inspections, any inspection fee, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, taxpayer has already paid this guy's wages, whoever it is. They've already paid for the vehicle and the transportation to get there. They've paid for their office. They've paid for everything. He goes out and does his job and charges us. That is absolutely pathetic. Taxpayer, I'm talking about the landfill well, not the landfill, the transfer station where we do the mulching. Taxpayer goes out there and pays $35, $40 to dump his green stuff. He's paid for the grinder. He's paid for the property out there. It's all covered up. It turns into mulch, and then he pays a fortune for the mulch. This is just, penny pinching. You guys should be cutting fees and making it easy on us as you could. If we didn't have to pay so many damn taxes and fees, we'd have more money to spend in the economy, and you could collect a hell of a lot more sales tax. So I guess I'll leave it at that. I was curious about one thing, and I guess I'll talk to the fire guy here. I see that there's a big charge for going on a DUI accident. I wonder if there's a charge every time a fire engine or two goes to somebody that's having a heart attack or a medical call or something. Is there a charge for that? Does anybody know? We're being charged too damn much for the property that we've already paid for the people. I compare it to this. How about at Dutch Brothers, every time one of those little girls that Aaron has hired and is paying decides she wants to charge the customer 25 cents for each beverage she's getting, it's the same thing. She's already getting paid. So that's my point. Have a great day.
This is what is the death of empires, is the bureaucracy of government becomes so all-encompassing and destructive. Anyways, that's what it is. They've got to control every single aspect of your life, and they've got to charge you for it. And so
that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Why should I have to pay a $12,000 or $15,000 permit fee to build a house on my property? Yeah. It's just, we're giving you permission. We've got to check
We're
all
giving
this.
you permission.
You're getting paid. The guy that did the checking's already getting paid. Why am I paying him again?
Well, I talked about this at the Board of Supervisors because the county used to. I have not checked, so I'm going to say this is how it used to be. You have 10 acres, Nick. You want to split it into, let's say, 3 properties. So you're going to do a lot split or a lot line adjustment or whatever. There was a fee of $7,000, an application fee to do a lot line or a lot split. And I went to the building department to ask them, well, what does this $7,000 cover? Well, they didn't know. They just said that's the fee. So I went to the Board of Supervisors and I said, I want an itemized breakdown of how much time is a county employee spending on this? Are they spending 70 hours at $100 an hour? Are they spending 100 hours at $70 an hour? Are they spending 10 hours at $700 an hour? And I said, because $7,000 fee to just apply to do a lot split in your on your property, for the record, it's your property. You've decided I want to make it 1 go to 2, 2 to go to 3, whatever. And that was an example of something that was so, I never got the answer. And I don't know if it ever got waived, like removed, but $7,000 was the fee to apply for a lot split.
See,
that's government.
And my point is the guy that's making the decisions is already getting paid for us. So why are we paying him again to do his job that we've paid him for?
You know, Houston, Texas has no building zoning. You can do whatever you want. Their permit process is almost non-existent. And oddly enough, Houston's a very well-functioning city. Because if you have a residential, nobody's going to build a gas station next door to you. They're just not going to do it. So they just kind of let common sense be the rule, or at least that's how it is now. Now Houston's a blue city, so
I imagine if you went to the outskirts, you could find some places that you wish there was some rules.
well, I mean,
I
look at
know up
Shasta
in
County.
Alaska, you can pretty much do whatever
If
you
you
want.
want.
You see these shacks made out of press board, and that's it.
Well, hold on. I know this about Alaska because I have a client who lives in Alaska, and one of the quirky things about Alaska is you're not considered a full done house until you have siding. So he says up there that you'll see houses with Tyvek wrap around it, and they never get finished because then they're not considered done, so they don't have to pay taxes on a finished structure.
Sure. But anyway, getting back to this now, they talked about the parking fees out at the airport. And it's like $24 a day, I believe, is what they are charging. And there's not some guy that collects your money from when you leave. I don't know how they do it. But if you don't pay your fees, I gather they'll send you a bill in 2 weeks. And if you don't pay it, it goes to the DMV and they collect it on your registration for your car.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I always liked the increments of government separated. I mean, what's not paying your parking fee out at the airport got to do with registration for your vehicle?
Not a darn thing, because as a matter of fact, your vehicle is parked, so you're not actually using it as a thing, but you used it to get there. That's just another example of when an empire is in the death throes. They've got to legislate every single breath you take, because the only way they survive is they've got to constantly justify their existence and raise what they charge you to cover their existence. And so that's where we're at.
And that's why you need to listen to this program, because I'll bring this to your attention, and go to the meetings and start paying attention what your government is doing to you.
Well, I've been beaten up. I'm telling you, I've been beaten up on Cry and Kellstrom. I mean, I know him personally enough that I think I can do it, but I am trying like a son of a gun to get those flock cameras removed from our county.
What's wrong with those flocking cameras?
There's a lot of flocking wrong with those cameras. And so I'm trying to get those removed because I'm trying to illustrate to them, they have been sold a lie by Johnson. Johnson's like, oh, it's going to save silver and it's going to be Amber Alert. And this, okay.
So is it Johnson conspiring to get him there, or has he been sold a lie?
Well, he was sold a lie, and what's funny is
so
this,
he's
well,
not the
thing
bad
is,
guy. So
Johnson, Johnson is any constitutional sheriff would have said we're not putting this in our thing. Period.
But
the Flock CEO has been consistently caught lying about everything. Data collection, who's access to. He's lying on every.
Johnson is?
No, the CEO of Flock.
Okay,
but Johnson was sold a bill of goods like, well, this will help you with Amber Alert. This will help you with, the Silver Alert. First off, how many do we actually have in a year? How many crimes are actually resolved because of this Flock camera? But it's collecting data every time you drive by the damn thing.
If they steal your lovely wife, Liz, and they find her alive and safe because of a Flock camera, you'll be advocating for them.
I'm not sure.
But
That's a tough call. That's a tough
I can
call.
see Johnson's point of view. He wants
That's the
law
problem.
and order.
That's the problem.
And he probably just didn't cake.
They sell it on how it's better for us.
I don't think Johnson's a bad guy.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's a bad decision. So I'm trying to beat up on Cry and Kellstrom because it goes back to government overreach in that they're not protecting the people. They've introduced the surveillance state to Shasta County. They voted for those things, and I want them to unvote them and get them out of here. Flock contracts are being canceled all over the United States. However, there's a second system that's as equally evil, collecting data on you, and it's under the radar, but it's not in Shasta County yet, or at least not publicly in Shasta County. So when you talk about government overreach and this and that, that's another example right there of how we're paying $500,000 for them to watch everything we do.
Oh, you've got it right. I agree with you. Another fee that they have on there is for the fire department. They have an emergency fee per vehicle for a call on a DUI collision, $547.
That's cheap.
What do you mean it's cheap? What did they do?
The casino, the one that they beat the hell out of Kevin Cry, what is the casino paying? $1,200 every time they roll a cop there, I think?
Oh, no, they're not paying nothing.
Did they cancel that contract again?
It never went into effect.
Really?
Yes.
So I was going to say $500 is almost a deal compared to what the casino agreed to pay.
Oh, well, yeah, but yeah, well, like I say, we're still policing and fire extinguishing for the casino for free because the liberals thought that was a crappy deal.
That's the problem. This one is 100 times worse, and they'll sit there and stand on the table and pound it. We got a better deal by not getting any money for any of our work.
That's right. We're going to get a better deal and make up for it.
Yeah. And the casino's going to go, no, you're not. I gave you a good
I'd
one.
like to see the casino say, we're building a small jail and we're going to police our own property. Thank you. And we put pumps in the Sacramento River. So, we have indigenous
rights.
To the water, and we'll just flood the whole damn thing if we have a fire.
Well, what's funny is technically, Nick, they get to do that. The reservations
Can
have
do anything.
I say the
they
reservations have self-policing. They have their own police force. So, there's an idea on the tribe land, put a jail for people who break the law on the tribe land, and they're not in our justice system anymore. They're going to be in tribal justice. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, yeah. You remember that? Well, there's a casino down in Pasquinta, and they got into it because the board of directors had bought them a jet, and they were flying all over the world. Excuse me. And having vacations, and the other Indians felt like, I assume it felt like it was cutting into their dividends. So the one aspect of the tribe decided to take over, and they were walking through the casino with long guns.
Oh, really?
And telling people, don't worry, everything's fine, while an Indian's walking through there with a shotgun.
Old West justice. I think it's coming back to America in general. Vigilante justice will make a return, unfortunately, because maybe we can't rely on our police officers. And it's not their fault necessarily, but we just can't rely on them. Their response times are, out where I'm at, I had an incident where I went toe-to-toe with what turned out to be like the most wanted guy in Shasta County. It's actually quite a story.
He was trying to steal this?
No, he it's a long story, but I went toe-to-toe with this guy and used a lot of bad words and told him to get off the property. And we called 911. 4 hours later, a sheriff officer showed up. 4 hours. And it turned out and they caught him over this. I found out over this last winter, they did catch the guy. But when the lady came out and I described who this person was, she goes, oh, yeah, we know this guy. He's publicly threatened to kill cops. Now, I'm toe-to-toe with the guy, and of course, I don't know that.
I'll tell you how you could have
got
him
But my point
there.
being is that 4-hour turn time for a sheriff, and it's not their fault. It's just that's how they're staffed. And same with City of Reading. I think the response time is around 15 minutes. A lot happens in 15 minutes if you if you're in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. If you're getting your butt kicked, a minute's a long time.
Exactly.
But how you could have gotten him sooner, 5 minutes after 911, you should have called back and said, I don't need the sheriff now, send the coroner.
I will tell you, I had an incident when I lived in the city of Reading, and my kid said there was snoring under his window. And I thought, well, that's the damn strangest thing. So I got and look, and I can't find anything. I didn't take a real bright flashlight. And so I came back in and go, Phil, so 5 minutes later, he's like, Dad, there's still something out there. I went out and took a flashlight, looked down at the corner next to my fence, and there was this drugged out homeless person right there. I said, go in the house, tell Mom to go get the gun, bring it out, and just let's call 911. So I called 911, and the lady was like, well, I said, look, my wife's got a gun pointed at him. You better get a unit here. I'm telling you, lights, not quite sirens because it was like 11 o'clock at night. But like 2 units were there within like 5 minutes.
I had the same situation. I had an attempted home invasion, and I called up and I said, I'm holding him with a gun at the point of a gun.
Yeah.
And they were there quick.
They get there real quick. So if you need service, say, I'm holding him, I'm looking at him, got my gun.
But you're very fortunate that you didn't get nailed for brandishing a firearm, because the only thing they asked me when they were there is if I pointed the gun at him.
Nope, we never pointed at him.
Yeah.
Nope. My wife came out in her bathrobe. It's quite a sight. Porch lights on, comes out in her bathrobe, guns pointed straight at the ground. And I'm over around the corner of my house watching the guy. And I said, let's just stay there. If he moves, I'll let you know. But otherwise, just stay there. So she never got close to him. But, when I said my wife has a gun, come out the front door, all of a sudden the urgency of getting units there was immense. So,
I think that the fire department does an outstanding job. We had a fire 100 yards from my house. The flames were 40 foot in the air when I saw it, with trees towering around it. There's 2 pecan trees that are 60 foot tall. Thank God there wasn't a wind blowing.
Yeah.
And the fire department was there in no time, and they got it knocked down. And the police, you know, they do a pretty good job, in my opinion. When they have to be there, they're there, but their
Well,
hands
yeah,
are tied on a lot
I'm
of
not
things.
necessarily beating on the police or anybody else. I'm just saying we've gotten to a point where we have to rely more on ourselves because our law enforcement is busy for the 14th time handling the same homeless person who's caused the same issue.
Thank you, Kristen Schrader and Leonard Modi.
And so, you know, this goes back to a show that we've done now in terms of this government overreach and the lack of government help. So we've hit both sides of the coin there, Nick.
Yes. So what do you want to talk about? I know you had some things to
Well,
talk
you know,
about.
the world is a bit of a mess right now. And so, Leslie, how much time do we have left? Oh, so we're at 36 minutes already, and I think our shows are only supposed to be around 30, 35, I think is what you told me, or what are we doing here?
We can do anything we want to do.
Oh, look at, whoa. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Dang, I'm telling you. No, so anyways, Nick, there's a lot of things going on in the world that that I don't know if people pay attention. I would argue by the way that things vote, go, do, and response to people when they ask me what do I think about things, most people are busy living their lives and not paying attention. But there is some real.
Let me make a point.
Please.
The public has more opportunity to pay attention to national politics and world politics than they do local politics.
I agree. But the problem is the local politics is what on a hyper level we kind of deal with. This homeless, this, that's there. The national politics is really where we get completely screwed over.
But the thing is, Podunk Redding is not going to have much to say about national politics. If you
But
want
national politics has a lot to say to Podunk Redding.
That's right.
And that makes the
if
difference.
you want to change it, you've got to build a foundation, and that's starting locally and then going up to the state and then going up to the national politics.
I love optimism there, Nick. I've lost my optimism. We have reached.
You can have half of mine. I've got plenty.
Well, I'm just saying we have reached a point in American history that the empire is dying. It's dying rapidly, and Trump's put his foot on the gas, and we just crossed $40 trillion in debt. Our debt servicing is going to be almost $2 trillion a year within about 2 years. But the Trump family's doing well. They have made billions upon billions upon billions. Trump is doing insider trading, offering people who's willing to pay him $100,000 a month to get his tweets before he tweets, so they can short the market or long the market. That's insider trading by any other name.
That's a real tweet if you can afford it.
Well, that's a real tweet if you can afford it. But the point is, we sat there and screamed holy hell about Pelosi and et al. And Biden. Trump makes them all look like chump change, and so those are things that are happening.
Well, Trump doesn't do anything small.
Well, he doesn't do anything illegal. He doesn't do anything legal either.
Have you seen the great ballroom that they're building?
Which is, the budget for the here's the good thing you brought that up. So the budget for the Capitol usually runs about $3 to $4 million a year. Trump has spent, I think it was $365 million in 2 years for Capitol grounds improvement.
That's how far Bush, Obama, and Biden let it get run down.
It did get run
but
down.
Let's get back to that
it wasn't
great
run down.
ballroom. Do you know what they're building underneath it?
Well, it's supposedly like some safe room.
5 stories.
Yeah.
It goes down 5 stories. It's a military complex it's kind of like the Fort Knox of the Pentagon.
Well,
and he's irritated that the news media let it out. He said, now our enemies know it's there.
It doesn't matter. We have underground bunkers. There's always been underground bunkers. I mean, when 9/11 happened, they got the people out of the Capitol into the tunnels, going to the secure underground sites for our most corrupt citizens. So let's just be clear. We have set up a system to protect our corrupt citizens. Some of them aren't even citizens. They're the ones up in Minnesota. But we didn't need that facility. We did not need a 5-story under the ground facility under the White House. We've got already underground secure bunkers that served adequately. And if we're at the point of a nuclear shot, I mean, I'm not aware of any other country on earth that has bunker busters that would get down under 15 feet of the ground like us. We can get into a side of a mountain a little bit. Why did we need to protect the most corrupt of our citizenry with a $300 million bunker under the White House? I don't get it. That, to me, that's a gigantic waste of time, money, and effort. But as the government starts to collapse, those weasels are going to need to go somewhere where the citizenry don't find them. And that's what that's for. Don't kid yourself, because that's what they've done it for, is to protect the rats on the ship. It's like the bug.
Speaking of rats on the ship,
yeah.
You know,
I want to talk about that real quick. Also, did anybody know, because it was not put out in the news, but do you know that on the U.S. Abraham Lincoln, the one that's been in the news, did you know that there was an incident? Did you know this, Nick? You probably didn't. That they sent some
calling me ignorant.
Nope, I'm calling you like most people. They just didn't, because it wasn't in the news. You had to kind of dig for it. On the Abraham Lincoln, the one that's been in the news about poor conditions, coming home, a Navy schmuck. This is how bad our Navy's being run by Hegseth and Trump. Uppity schmuck from the Navy came on board to kind of address and talk to the sailors. The sailors booed this person and got to the point where it became a riot. 7 American sailors stabbed and killed 7 other sailors on our own ship in the middle of the ocean.
How come?
Because the tension on the Abraham Lincoln was so bad.
How many people are on the Abraham Lincoln?
I think they hold around 5,000 at
and
full.
there's not going to be one conflict at all.
I'd
say 7's probably kind of way down there. They did pretty good.
I think
you put any 5,000 people together.
There's no humor in this.
A little tiny ship.
There's no humor.
There's going to be anger.
No, there's no humor. This was a full-on riot in response to the Navy's absolute dereliction of duty to protect our people. I mean, they're out there in the middle of the ocean, and actually they had been on a 9-month deployment with only touching land twice, but didn't make the news that there was a riot on board, and 7 American sailors who did not see combat are dead because our Navy let them down. And then last week, it became known that one of our ships in the Asian theater was so poorly run that it actually was, for 4 days, had no power on the ship whatsoever. And it was just drifting, and they're towing it now to one of the ports. That's our Navy, folks. So when Trump's out there saying, we've got the world's best Navy, we've got a carrier that's so mismanaged and poorly run, you've got moldy showers, rationed food, and a riot killed 7 of our sailors.
What were they rioting over?
Just this guy came on and he was going to address their concerns, and apparently it broke out into a hoo-ha. And before it was all said and done, according to the news reports that you can find, 7 sailors are dead. 7 Americans are dead because our Navy let them down. And that's Hegseth and that's Trump. And so there are some issues going on that our media, we thought it was bad under control of Biden and Obama. There's a lot of stuff going on that they are not putting out there that really, and so when you talk about local versus national or international, those things are pretty damn important to us too, because that's the state of our Navy. And those guys, God bless them. They sign up to go on a ship and be out there for a long time. I would imagine World War II, ships were out at sea for maybe a year straight, damn near, because they were in active combat. But this is a relative peacetime deployment, and they hadn't been on land for 9 months, eating rationed or rotten food. This is what's going on in the world, and nobody knows about it. They do now.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Well, Leslie brought it up to the fact that we tend to focus a little bit on hyper local stuff, and it limits the appeal of our show because people who are not in our area don't necessarily care what Shasta County Board is. And so I really appreciate you bringing the stuff locally, because that is important for us to know locally. Absolutely. But also there are things that are happening. The foreign currencies are collapsing under the weight of the dollar. There's a black swan event coming. Nobody knows exactly where it is, but it's coming. So those are things that are macro.
We're past due. We're 10 years past due.
Well, they're printing more money now, right now. Now, it's not in the news, but they're printing more money now than they did during COVID. Let that sink in by a huge factor. Remember what happened in COVID? That inflation went up and everything went crazy.
Well, same thing happened with Bush. He was pumping out $600 checks Go spend this money. You remember that? I got one.
I never think I got one of those.
Obama, he did a lot of
Oh,
quantity
Obama cash for
easing.
clunkers and you did that for your house payment, all kinds of stuff with Obama.
Yeah.
So, when I love our show
Our
because
government is taking and giving money to everybody.
except to the people who are paying the government.
That's right.
So if you're the taxpayer, you're not getting the money back, but it's going to everything. And like you said in your presentation, it's now been made official that we pay more in taxes than we do for food and clothing.
And shelter.
Well, shelter, no, because shelters are $700-800 a month. So that already goes past
It
that.
isn't in Appalachia.
Where you can
It
date,
was a national.
where you can date your sister.
I guess we better call it quits.
I think so. As always, I'll be in Seattle going to a race next week. I'll let you know how I do when I get back. And then finally, as a closeout for this one, I'm going to say it every show, September 19th, Wild Horse Sanctuary, Manton, 11 to 4, open house, free to the public, vendors, music, food trucks. Be there.
I think IGO is having a big celebration for Labor Day. It's called Albino Days. Go out and check out the pink eye competition. It's always interesting. The family with
No, but you know what? You can do that. They're white people. You can say racist stuff. You're okay.
the family with the straightest family tree gets a flagpole as a trophy. See you next week. Leslie and I are Matt Plummer's excuse for censoring Clint Curtis. So sharpen up your pencil, Leslie.